Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to my Beautiful Nights channel. For this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to make this incredible bracelet right here. I've been working on this bracelet ever since I got beads from BB Craft, which I think has maybe been a month or so, maybe even longer. See, I have several projects going on all the time at once, and so this bracelet here is so big for me. It was such a big project that it's taken me a while to get to this point to finally do a video, but I think it was meant to be like this just because of how little things in this design has changed here and there. I want to talk about the kinds of beads that I'm using for these pieces, because I think that everybody's probably going to have the beads at home to do this. You're probably just going to need to buy the cord, and if you don't have the beads, that's okay, because I will list down the description bar the beads that I'm using so that you can remake my bracelets here. So anyways, this one here that I'm using striped seed beads in 6/0 and 8/0 from BB Craft, and I found with this one here I went more basic on beads. I didn't really go over the top with shapes, but this one here I went all out because I wanted to see how far can I take this. So anyways, this one here I did ceramic beads, which have large holes, and you need large hole beads for these two here, because you have to pass at least 2 cords through them. If you want, you can pass a total of 4 cords. This one here, I do believe, yeah, I did 4 cords on these two here, but if you can at least get 2 through that big bead, you'll be okay. So these beads here are 9mm, I think, ceramic beads that I got from BB Craft, but you can also use 8. You can use 8, 9, or 10mm beads here. And then for these beads, these are 4mm metal spacer beads. They're hollow, but you can also do 6/0 seed beads in place of them. So if you look over here, I don't want to pick this up because I'll make all my beads fall, but this one here, I'll zoom in. I did these turquoise beads here from BB Craft. They have large enough holes that I was able to pass my cord through, and these here are 6/0 seed beads that I did in the rest of the weaving. And then this is a 10mm Czech fire polish bead that I used on that one there, and because the bead's bigger, it does stand up higher, as you can see, and it's flat at the back, but it stands up higher on the top. And this one here is lower, and it's also standing up more in the back because I passed 4 cords through that. So those are just some design things that I wanted to tell you there. And then this one here, I did 3mm metal spacer beads in the hematite color from BB Craft, and these 4mm, these are gorgeous. They're faceted glass beads, and then 6/0 seed beads. And then I did clear rondelles because I have a lot of clear beads in my stash and I hardly use them, but I realized because this cord here is a beautiful color, clear would be great for this because you could see the cord through the bead. And then I did some 6mm bicones here from BB Craft. Again, I will zoom in. So I'm just giving you some options, some ideas on what you can do for your beads. Now these bicones here from BB Craft had quite large holes, and they came in a big box like this, and there was a whole bunch of different bicones in that box. I will post that down there below. Hopefully they still have it in stock. And I did 6/0 seed beads in between them. Anyways, and this bracelet here, I actually passed 2 cords through this center row here because I wanted to have a big center row. Like this one I used, you know, there's 1 strand of cord going through each row of beads, but this one here I wanted to have like a center piece and do a more of a pattern with instead of doing random like this with seed beads. So I have 2 cords going through there, and then I repeated the pattern again over here. So hopefully that makes sense to you. So basically, you really can use any beads you want for this bracelet as long as your cord will pass through them. Some other things you will need, of course, the most important thing is the cord. So I love this cord here. It is Chinese nylon knotting cord. I got this from BB Craft. This is my favorite size here to use because of the size of the knots. I can really see the knots. It's not too small, but it's not too big. It's the perfect size to put beads on for me that I found. And also I like that I can melt this cord so I don't have to use glue because I'm not a big fan of glue. So anyways, you will need to cut 5 4-foot lengths of this 0.8mm Chinese nylon beading cord. You're also going to need a button. I love using metal buttons, especially these shank buttons, but you can also use a 2-hole button as long as it has big enough holes that you can pass your cords through. And you're going to need a lighter to melt your cords, and I like to use these binder clips here to attach my bracelet down to something. You can make this bracelet wherever you can attach it to, a clipboard. I like doing it on my desk. I attach it to my desk. You can also buy a macrame board, and I think that's pretty much it for the list of materials. Oh, one other thing. I named these bracelets. I realized I forgot to tell you. I named each one of these bracelets that I'm about to show you, and if you want to remake these bracelets, if you like my color combinations, I'm going to have list of materials down there for each bracelet. So this one here is African trade bracelet. This one was Northern Lights bracelet. The one I'm going to do in the tutorial is called Wild Wild West bracelet, and you will see where down there in the description bar how I will have material lists for each bracelet, and also I'm going to have links to all of the materials that I used on all 3 of these bracelets down there in the description bar. So this is it. Let's get started. I know the beginning of this was long, but like I said, this is a big project for me, and I want it to be very informative so anybody can make this bracelet. Let's do this. Okay, I have my bracelet attached here. Like I said, I like to do this on my desk, but you can attach your bracelet to anything you want. You can even take a piece of cardboard, attach your bracelet to this. These bulldog clip things here, binder clips, whatever you want to call them, they work great for this. So I took all 5 of my cords. They're 4 foot long, but I did cut a couple inches extra because I like to burn the ends of my cords, which makes them shorter, so I did just a couple more inches to be safe. And then I folded them in half, put them to the button, and I put it on there. And then I have this tea tray that I use, and I clip the cords down here. And then this is my desk drawer, and I just pull this out, and then I pull this here out, and then it makes my cords tight. Anyways, this is just my setup. This is what I do, but you could do whatever you want, whatever easy for you. So I have 4 cords right now that are taut here, but I have a 5th one that's out. I'm going to be tying square knots just like this with this cord, so that when the button lays flat, these knots here are hidden, because if we start tying our fancy knots up here, this button is going to touch this bead. So you want to tie just enough square knots that the edge of your button right there touches them. This is something I always do in macrame. Anyways, I have my 5th cord here. I'm going to make sure my tails are even. I made sure that all of these tails here are even. You want to make sure they're even. And I'm going to take my right cord, lay over top of my center cords, then take my left cord, go over top of my right, underneath the center, and then through this hole right here. Okay, this is my first square knot we're tying. And again, before I pull this tight, I can already see that I have one side that's longer than the other, so I just take my fingers, I go like this, and then with my other hand I'm adjusting the knot down here. Okay, this is even. Now I'm going to slide this knot up, and it looks good. Okay, that's a lot better. Okay, I'm going to pull this taut because I got loose on me. Slide that up. That's half of a square knot that we just tied. You want to check and make sure that the loops here on the bottom of your button aren't all crazy, because sometimes things happen like that, and then I get carried away and I look back and I have a whole bunch of cords sticking out. So you want to make sure that's correct. And now I'm going to finish my square knot. So I'm going to take left now, put it over the center, right over left cord, under center through this loop. Again, I'm just checking because I have OCD and everything has to be perfect. Which I gotta say, OCD is not a bad thing. It can be a good thing. Okay, and then I have a whole square knot now. That's what it looks like. It looks good to me. Okay, so I'm going to continue tying my knots. So I'm going to tie a second square knot, and to do that I'm going to pass my right cord over center, left over right, underneath center through this loop. Now, I meant to say earlier, but I've just had so much information to tell you guys about this project. Don't be intimidated at all. Now my dog is going to start dreaming about this project here, because the knots we're using to make this is knots that you use in friendship bracelets. So when you were a little kid and you made friendship bracelets, those are the knots we're using. Nothing big. Okay, now I'm going to put left over center, right over left underneath through this loop. Pull it tight. Right over center, left over right through this loop. Pull it up, and I'm just going to tie enough square knots here so that we pass our button, and then I can start doing my beading. So let's see, I have 3 square knots. Is that good enough? It might be. This one I did 3 on this one, and this button's a little bit smaller. Let me see. I think I want to do one more, because this button is just so big. Yeah, let's do one more. So I lift off with left, so it's right now, over center, left over right, under center through the loop, and then left over right, over left, under center through the loop. Okay, that's good. I like that. And also, you can push these knots up. Pull that tight. There we go. That's perfect. I separated my cords, and now I'm ready to start tying my diagonal double half hitch knots, which sounds really scary, but it's not. Okay, so I'm going to take my cords, and let's see, I always like to do left over. So I'm going to take my right cord, hold it in my left hand, and I can't tell if I need to zoom out or zoom in like this. So taking the right, holding it in my left, then I'm going to take the left cord, this one here, hold it in my right, and I'm going to wrap this over my right cord and go through the loop, so that my knot wraps around this cord and the loop goes over top. See how it's going over top there? And then I go like this, and I pull this knot up. Okay? And I use my nails there to position it in place, and then I do it again. I take this cord, go over top of this one, put my fingers through like that, and then again this loops on top, and I pull this up, and that loop sits on top of my other cord, and that's what makes it look so fancy. Okay? So then this cord here, I just leave straight down here. These here are off to the sides. And now I'm going to come over here and take my next cord. And you want to make sure that you separate these very neatly. It's very important in macrame. I'm going to take the next one right here, okay? This is going to be my leader cord, so I'm going to hold it in my left hand. And then my left cord, I'm going to take into my right. And I'm going to go like this and wrap it around this one time, okay, and then when I let it go, it loops like that, and I'm going to bring this loop up here, snug it up, do it again like this, bring that up, pull it tight there, okay. I'm going to leave this cord straight down here, and by the way, I do leave this clip thing here in the middle because it helps divide my cords, if that makes sense to you. I should get one of those macrame board things. That would probably help me out a lot. Okay, taking the next cord, this one here, I'm going to do the same thing, like this, through the loop, bring this knot up, snug it up, again, over top, through the loop, snug that up. So I have these cords that I just tied knots with, and then those over there. Okay. Taking the next cord on this side, I'm going to hold it in my right hand, like this. See, I hold it in my right hand. But I take this hand, I open it like this, kind of looks like a 4, right? And then I wrap over top and through this loop, and I pull this knot up. pull that tight, and then I do it a second time, just like that, pull that tight. Okay, one cord left on this side. Again, I go like that, like I have before, and then I take this cord and I go through this loop here, let go with my left hand, and then I slide this up. Now there's this little area, see that last cord I did right there? And here I'll show you on the complete one. I was thinking about putting 3mm, the metal beads, or 8OC beads on that cord right there and right there, just for decorative purposes. You don't have to, because you can't do anything like that down here, but I did do some decorative beads there, but just an idea, just something I thought of. Anyways, did I just tie one knot? Yes. So see how I just pulled that out because I forgot? And I see that's one knot. Okay, so pull that up there, and then I finish it off because it's a double half hitch, like that. Pull that snug. Okay. Now I'm going to take all these cords that I just knotted with and move them over here to the side. I need to separate, see what's going on. Okay, so I see these right here, but I have to take and find my leader cord, which is the top one. Okay, right here. I hope you could see that. I'm going to zoom in. See, these ones here I've not tied any knots with, but this cord here was in my first knot, so this one's going to be my leader cord. So I'm going to take my next cord, which looks like this one here, okay, and I'm going to go like this. I'm going to hold by the way, I'm going to hold my leader cord in my right hand, and then I'm going to take the cord that's over here on the right and hold that in my left hand, so I'm swapping sides really. And I'm going to go like this, just like a 4, right? And then I'm going to wrap this around my leader cord. And I'm going to, see how that the loop goes on the top of the cord? I'm going to slide that up, scooch it up there with my nails, and then I'm going to do it again, just like that, looks like a 4. Pull the cord through, and the loop again is on top. Slide this knot up, and scoot that down, because right, you'll see that it's not going down all the way. I guess because it's a braided cord. And then I'm going to go to my next cord, which I think is this one here. I don't know, it looks like they're on top. Yeah, I think it's this one. Okay, this one here. Again, hold it like this. Make a 4. Go through there. And pull that knot up. Snug it up. Do it again. Through here. Pull this knot up. Okay, next cord. Again, this is still my leader cord. You could see all of those cords right here are tied around this cord. That's my leader cord. This is my leader cord on that side. All of those cords are tied around this cord. Okay, so again, taking this cord here, I'm going to take this cord on the right, hold it with my left hand. This is my leader. Go like this. Wrap that cord around so that it loops on top. And then slide that loop up into place. Snug it up. And then one more time. Just like that. And pull that knot up. Okay. And then here's my last cord. It's going to go underneath, over top, through the loop. And then I pull it up. Let's see, what does it look like? There it is. Pulling that snug, and then we're going to go over top again and through the loop. Scooch it up. Slide that down. And there we go. Okay. We are now ready for our first bead, so we have to separate our cords. This is our leader. It's going to go off to the side. I like to use needles or a pokey tool. I love this T-pin here. I only have one of these. But I just go like this, right? And I find the center with my cords. Makes it easier. Like that. Okay. Separate them. And then take the two center cords. This one and this one. Now to save time, I did melt all the ends of my cords off camera, and I rolled the ends between my fingers so that I was able to slide my beads on, so you can see how the ends are all melted and pointed. And this bead here that I'm using, I can only pass 2 cords through at a time. There's a couple things you can do to make this easier for you. You could pass 1 cord through and then try and pass the next cord through, like this. Okay. There's also another little thing that I came up with, a little trick. I'll show you on this one here. I take a needle, okay, just a regular beading needle, and I take it and I pass it through my cord like this, and because I melted the end, do you see how my needle stops in there like that? Okay, and then I take my bead and I go just like this and I feed that through. Isn't that funny? That's how I do some beads that are like tough to get through. And then I'm going to pull both cords through. Now the other bead that I used in this one, the ceramic bead, again I got that from BB Craft. The hole was so big, I got 4 cords to go through there. So sliding this up, I want to make sure that my cords are side by side, just like that, and push it all the way up as far as it will go. Okay, and then these 2 cords here, I'm going to attach down to my tray. These need to stay tight. Okay, and then we are going to knot around this bead, and it's going to make this bead pop up. This is a 10mm howlite bead. I got these from BB Craft also. They are gorgeous. You'll see links down there for them in the description bar. And then we're ready to continue knotting. So let's do one side at a time. I'm going to put my right ones here over to the side, and then I'm going to take my leader cord and hold it in my right hand, and then take my next cord, this one right here, and I'm going to wrap over top of my leader cord and go through this loop, okay, so that it loops on top like this, and then I'm going to pull this knot up just like that, snug it up, and then I'm going to do it again, okay, over top of my right cord and through this loop. Now this time I'm going to pull my right cord in this direction because I need this to turn around. It has to go around this bead, and snug that up there. Now put that cord to the side and find my next cord. Let's see, I want to make sure I get the right one. It's this one here, okay? So this one again is going to go over top of my right cord and then through the loop. And again, pull this cord over here to the right as you snug the left cord up, and then tie a second knot. So again, over top of the right, through the loop, pull this down, snug that knot up, put that cord to the side, and then take the next cord, it's this one right here, go over top of the right, through the loop, bring this knot up, like that. Okay, and then do it again. Pull that tight, and I'm just going to see how's it going to look. It's going to look good. I love that color. This cord color is so pretty. Okay, and then I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to go to this side. So I'm going to bring these cords here down. I'm going to take the right cord, hold it in my left hand, taking my first cord, this one here, I'm going to go underneath of this cord, over top and through the loop, and then pull this knot up. Okay, make sure you pull this cord here to the left now. we're doing the opposite. Again, go over top of this one through the loop, bring this up, take the next cord, this one right here, it's going to go over top of this through the loop again. Okay, bring that knot up, do it a second time, pull that tight, and then here's my last cord underneath, over through the loop, just like that. Okay, pull that tight one more time. If you're ever unsure if you tied a second knot, just grab that last knot with your fingernails, and if it feels loose, you can kind of see it'll be connected to the cord at the top that you didn't completely do it. Okay, so this is what I have right now. Now I'm going to let go of my cords down here. Actually, I think I'm just going to let go of one cord for now and keep this one here straight and attached so that it doesn't get messy looking in my camera view for you guys. Now I'm going to take the cord here that's coming out of the bead and go underneath of my leader cord like this. Wrap it over top through the loop like that. Okay. Now you have to slide this bead up as high as it will go and push this here over to the side, that knot, and make sure that none of your cords exposed. And this bead, it's a bigger one, so it's going to be sticking at the top more for me, so I'm just going to tie this as tight as I can, and your other cords will be there down at the base. Pull that tight, and then I'm going to go over top and through the loop to complete this knot, just like that. Okay, and now I have to do this side, so I'm going to release this completely down here. I'm going to hold this cord in my left hand, the leader cord, take this cord coming out of the bead, I haven't used it yet, go around this cord through the loop and slide this knot up. Okay, and do some adjusting here so that I don't see any cord there. Pull that knot tight. Might have to twist my bead some. Okay, tight like that. And then I tie another knot just like this. Try to hide that cord right there. I don't want that to be seen. Okay, snug that down. And then I have this. Okay, so I'm going to put these cords over here to the right and these to the left, and I have these two center cords. Now I always like to tie, because I'm right-handed, I always like to tie the left cord around my right, so I'm going to pass the left underneath the right like this. Okay, and this is going to go over top of the right through the loop, and I'm going to pull this up and pull this tight like that, and then finish the knot off one more time, over and through the loop. But I always have to make sure that I adjust my last knot there so that this one falls just where I need it to. Okay, so now we have this large bead here. I'm going to attach these two cords here down again, so this stays still for us. We're going to do another row of knots here and here, and then we're going to add a bead on each side. So we're going to change leader cords now. This is now going to be my leader cord. Now we're going to add beads. Okay, this is what my original looks like. I'm going to do one 4mm bead on each side. It's going to be on the outside cord. Can I sit this here and stay here, or am I going to hit it constantly? Take this cord here on the outside and put a 4mm bead on it. I love these little glass ones from BB Craft. They have really nice size holes, as you could see. Just easily slips on. And I'm going to put these here over to the side. These are going to go all the way to the right. By the way, I got a new puppy. She's very noisy. You're going to hear her barking. I can't do anything about it. This cord is going to go over top of this one. So like this. Okay, through the loop. And then pull this knot up. You want to pull this knot, it's a little tricky, all the way up to your first knot. Come on, get up there. Get up on that stage, don't be nervous. Okay, there we go. Just like that. Then I'm going to go over again through the loop and pull that up. Alright, just like that. Now this cord here is going to go over to the left out of my way, and then I have to take my next cord, this one here, this cord's going to go underneath, okay, and then I'm going to tie knots around this cord. So just like this. So if you look at it, all these cords that are going in this direction, those are my leader cords, and I tie one double half hitch knot around each leader cord going in this direction. So again, just like this, taking this knot cord that I just tied knots with, and we're going to go around the next cord right here. Okay, I'm trying to make sure you can clearly see. Like that. Pull this up. Okay, and then again, over top, through the loop, pull this up, snug it up. Now this one here is going to go off to the side, and then this cord is going to go underneath this cord, like this. Okay, we're doing it again. Over through the loop, pull this knot up right there, and then again, second time, just like that. Okay. So I'm going to stop here at the center, and I'm going to go to this side, put my bead on, slide that down, put these cords straight, and maybe I should attach this. I don't know, should I do it? This is going to go underneath. Like this now. Okay, this is my new leader cord. It's going to go under, over, through the loop, and I'm going to pull this knot up. So we're doing the same thing we did over here, it's just kind of like reversed. Slide that knot up, like that. Go over top of this cord and through the loop, and pull that knot up. This cord now goes off to the side, and I get my next cord. Okay, this cord that we're tying knots with goes underneath of the next leader, goes over and through this loop, and pull this up. Snug it up, complete the knot, snug that, and there we go. This is now going off to the side, and then I go to my next cord. And I always have to swap them because that one always wants to go over top. So it's like this. Okay. So take this cord, this one right here, go over top of the next cord, and then through the loop, like that, pull it up, do it again, snug that up. Okay, and now I have this. I'm going to put this off to the side, and let's see, I'm trying to make it like my original one here. I'm going to take and put these two here to the side. And on this one, I take this cord right here and I go around this one. Just like this, over through the loop, and pull this nut up. Okay, and then do it a second time. Snug that up, like that. Okay. And then over here, this cord is going to go underneath of this one, and it's going to go over and through the loop, over and through the loop again, put that cord to the side, and then put this cord to the side, and then here we are again at the center. And like I've been saying, whenever I have two left, I like to take the left one and wrap it around the right. So just like this, and pull it up. Again. Like that. Okay, so we have this. It's very pretty. I like these colors. Okay, we're not going to have any more beads yet. Now I'm going to do this. Where's that? I'm trying to look in the camera. This curve right here. We're going to do this curve right here. Okay. So I have to take this cord. It's now going to be my leader cord. And I'm going to tie all of these cords around this cord. So this one's now going to go to the right. The left cord is now going to be on the right side. And then I'm going to take my first left cord and go over top of it and bring this knot up. Pull this here to the right so that our knots form to this side. And then again, pull that tight, and then put that to the side, and then take the next cord. Okay, and we're going to go over top through the loop again. Make sure you pull this up. You can actually pull it up like this, because I know sometimes when I do it, even if I'm pulling it like this way, you know, straight, it won't go that way. I'll see gaps. So I'm going to, I just only did one knot right. I gotta make sure. It's getting distracted. Yes, I did one knot. Okay, so I have to complete this, so I go over into the loop again. Pull that tight. Put this to the side. And now the next cord over the right cord. And then bring that knot up. Okay, and a second time. And then right here, I'm going to do that last one. And then again, over through the loop. Okay, and there we go. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this side, but I think I might fast forward this just a little bit so you won't hear me talking. Because we're going to be doing the same thing on this side. So now this cord here becomes my leader, and then I'm going to tie knots with these around my leader cord. It's the same thing we did on this side, we're just doing it to the other side now. Okay, now I'm left with the 2 center cords, and again I like to have the left go underneath the right over through the loop to close this up like that, and then finish it off. And there we go. This is what you should have. Now we're going to be doing my rondelles here, these red ones, and I have already put them on, so don't put anything on the first cord. On the second cord you want your bead, and then skip that cord, and then put one onto the 4th cord, right? Yeah, 4th one. So have it look just like this, and then take this cord here and hold this in your right hand. This is now going to be the leader cord. And then this cord here that the bead's on is going to go over top of your leader cord and through this loop like this. Okay, slide this knot down so it's right there at the base of your bead like that, and then again over and through this loop, slide this knot up. Okay, and then take the next cord, go over top of the leader through the loop. I did try putting a bead on each cord, but it was just not going to work out. I needed a gap in between, okay? So if you're thinking you could try it, it's not going to work. And then, again, I have to do my second knot there. Okay, and then the next one, I'm going to slide that bead up like that, but it does look cool with the cord in between the beads like that, okay? And then this one's going to go over top again through this loop, slide this knot up, get that there into place, like that, and then again over top through the loop, slide that knot down, okay? And then here's my last cord. I'm going to do the same thing over top through the loop, bring that down, adjust it. Do I need to pull this one tighter? Yeah, okay. Just like that. Again, finish it by going over top and again through the loop. And sometimes I do, you might have saw me earlier when I was fast forwarding, how I went like that, right? And then I pull this up, put my finger there like that, it keeps the tension on it. Okay, this side's done. Now I'm going to put beads on this side. The next thing we have to do right here, see that bead? I'm going to put a bead on these 2 cords. Okay, now these are 4mm, and when I was doing this one, for some reason it just seemed like I had a bigger gap here, and I'm like, that looks like it's big enough for a 6mm bead. So I tried this bead right here, this metal bead, and it is perfect. It's a 6mm bicone, so I'm just gonna crisscross my ends through this, and I might have to do that needle technique again. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it to save time. Okay, just like that. It's so funny, isn't it funny? Let me see. I dropped it. Okay. Slide this down, so we just crisscross the cords there, and look at how perfect that bead sits in there. It's perfect. It's actually much better than a 4mm, so you might find that you have to do a 6. Okay. And it don't have to be a bicone. You probably could do a rondelle here. Whatever fits, really. Just go through your stuff, see what you have. And I will have these metal beads that I'm using. I will have them linked below. When you get stuff from BB Craft, you can get a lot of things in bulk. The beads that I'm using for this bracelet here, all of them, pretty much all of them, came from a huge box. It was like this big, and the whole thing was loaded down with a ton of different metal beads. And now, for the rest of the cords, this side over here, I'm going to pick up a bead, and on this one I'm doing a tiger's eye bead, and I might have to do that needle trick again. Not all of them are like this, but these here are gemstones, and they have smaller holes than the glass ones I found. Some of these gemstones, they just slide right onto the cord, no problem. And then other ones I had to take more time and care to feed on. And also you can use pliers like this. Hold the cord, twist it on. I might have to go to another bead if this hole's too small. But I do have some more. Or melt my cord. Let me see. This one should fit. Unless I picked up the wrong one. That's another technique I want to show you guys. So see, it went through. But another thing you can do if you're having a problem getting your beads on is take your cord and melt it. Okay, and go like that and pull it, and you will actually get a little string. I have a tiny one right there. But you will get like a little string. I've had strings come off like this big, and you just slide. It's so thin, it's like fire line. You just slide that string in through your bead, and then you grab the end of it, and it just the bead slides right on down, no problem. So that was another idea I wanted to share with you guys. Okay, so I got a bead on this cord, and now I have to put a bead on this cord. Alright, so this time I decided to put another 3mm bead on here. So this one's a 4, these are 3s. This one here, I didn't put any beads in that little web of cords there, but this one I decided to try something different. Which I kind of did something different with all 3 of them. So anyways, I'm going to take this cord here, that's coming out of my tiger's eye bead. This is going to be my leader cord. Okay, so I'm going to hold this in my right hand, and the next cord here, the left one, is going to go over top and through this loop and pull this down. Okay, and I want to pull this knot over like that, and then go over top and through the loop again. Okay, we actually want this one to go this way because we have to meet up to this bead. That's our goal. And then take the next cord, which is the one that has the bead on it. Okay. Go over top of this cord through the loop like that. Again. Take the next cord over top through the loop. Again. Just like that. Okay, here is my last cord. This one here, again, I'm going to go, maybe I should separate it more and show you. See that there? This is still my leader cord. This one's going to go over top of the leader. Bring it down just like this. Now this one we want to get very close to this bead here. Okay, we really don't want a gap here. We might have a little bit of a gap, but we're going to do our best to have the smallest gap possible. Tying the rest of the knot. So I have to go like this and pull this tight. Okay, so I can slide this knot up like that. There we go. So you can see how I did that and I made it work. That's what I have now. Looks great. I'm gonna go to this side and do the same thing. My last knot on this side. Again, I want this to be tight. And what I do is I just hold it real tight like this, and then I pull that knot up like that so we don't have a big gap. Yes, that's perfect. That was one of the trickiest parts right there. And it went well for us. And it could be because I used a 6mm bead. I did have a harder time with a smaller bead. We're done tying knots here at the beginning, and you can see how these two cords here are kind of crisscrossing over each other. That's why I decided to put a row of beads on both of those cords. So looking back to this one here, how I did the 6/0 seed beads, two of these cords fit through one 6/0 seed bead, and I did the what are these called? Bicones. Yeah, that's what they're called. Anyways, Toho seed beads do have large holes, and Miyuki also does, but I actually did the cheapo seed beads. That's what I did in all of these. I did not use any expensive seed beads. But anyways, stringing your bracelet with beads, that's actually more time consuming than doing the knots, but they're both equally as fun and relaxing. I love doing both parts. So anyways, I'm going to measure this here and give you an idea of how long you will need to make this bracelet. So my finished bracelet from the shank to this loop right here is 8 inches long. So the length of your bracelet will vary depending on how big your button is. This button here I would say is the size of a nickel. It's a TerraCast button, in case you want the same one. It's made by TerraCast. And then this one here, this one's huge. It might be the size of a quarter, maybe a little bit smaller, maybe like 23mm. So it's big. So I am thinking, I didn't realize it before, but I might have to do less beads because this here bracelet might be like 8.5, 8.25. That's too big. I like it exactly at 8 inches long, especially when it's a big wide. When I wear big wide chunky bracelets, I do like to make them a little bit longer, and also I like to wash my hands. I push the bracelet up my wrist so it doesn't get wet, so that's also why I do 8. I can also wear 7.5, but I do 8 most of the time because of those reasons there. So anyways, measuring the beaded section here, this is 4.5 inches long, and this is total 8 inches. So you could string, if you want 7.5 inches, you could string 4 inches of beads. That should give you a 7.5, which is originally what I ended up when I first designed this. And then I had to take this all apart and add a few more beads because I wanted it to be longer. So yeah, this here, again, if you use a big button, it will lengthen your bracelet there. So I might have to add 1/4 of an inch to this one. I don't know. I'll see when I get there, but that's just an idea of how many beads you have to string. I'm now going to show you how to finish this bracelet off, and I moved this to my DIY bead board. Do you guys remember I did a tutorial on this where I used a steering wheel cover from the dollar store, and I recycled a whole bunch of other stuff. Anyways, I'm going to work on this, and I was going to work directly on this, but I realized this is too dark, so I put my mat over top of it, and then I pinned my bracelet down up here with the T-pin, okay, and then I have my beads all strung, and I have them laid out like this so you can clearly see what's going on it. Now I do want to point out that I did realize, because the beads are so close up here at the beginning, I did all 3mm beads. If you're doing 8/0 seed beads, you're going to want to put 8/0s. If you don't have 3mm, do 8/0s up here, okay, just close up to the knots, and then the next bead there can then be a larger bead. Because this is so close and tight right here, you do want to have smaller beads there. I hope that makes sense to you. Alright, and so I have all my beads strung, and now I'm going to work down here. Something else I need to point out is when you go to do this, tie this first knots right here, you may notice that you might have some strings that are too long and some that are too short. So you might have to undo your first row of double half hitch knots and add some beads to some strands, or take some beads away. So I did that last night to make sure that I had the exact amount. So here is a picture. As you can see, I laid them all down and I tied it. I think I had to add 2 beads to my outside row, my 3mm row there. So I had to do like 2 on each side. I had to do some adjusting, added some beads, take some out, until it laid flat. You don't want them to overlap each other. Now when you go to put it on, it's going to do that, but when you lay it down, you want it to lay like this, okay, so that you don't have bunching and crazy stuff going on. And it just takes some adjusting, some trial and error to do that. Alright, so now to tie our knots, I think what I'm going to do, I'm not going to be using these for a while, so I'm just going to do an overhand knot with these, so like this, just so I don't lose my beads, because I'm paranoid about that. Okay, so just like that, overhand knot, and when I need to come back to this, I just pull this here and the whole thing comes undone. And then I could sit that there to the side. Now because I'm doing my bead board, it's super padded, very thick padded, so I can poke my needle down into it. Now I'm going to take and split these cords here. This one's going to go that way. And I think what I'm going to do is pin this down. I'll go like this maybe. Okay. To keep this straight. I think I'm going to do that. Now my first cord is going to be the clear crystals, this one here. Okay, so I'm going to go like this. I'm going to do some camera adjusting. Okay, that looks good. So just like this, moving those to the side, taking this cord, it's going to go underneath this cord. This is my new leader cord now, by the way. Just like that. Pull that knot up. I'll take that pin out because I want to make sure that I get a good first knot right here. Okay. And then I'm going to do that again over top through the loop. And again, I will hold it just like this, adjust it, and then pull that knot up. And then I can place my pin back down in that. And then take the next cord. It's supposed to be the 6/0 seed beads. So I'm going to do this one now, underneath of this cord, over and around. Slide this down. Okay. You know what, maybe I won't use that. Let me see. Yeah, I think I'm okay without that needle there. And some of you might not even have the option to use a needle like that. Now I'm going to go around again to complete the knot. So maybe it's best for me not to use it, in case you don't have the option to do something like that. Pull this down. Completed that knot. Okay. And then this one here. Slide all those beads down. It's going to go around this cord. Like that. Pull that tight. And then this one here, the last one. Okay, I now have this side done, and now I have to do the other side. So I have to take this cord right here, these are going to go off to the side, and we're going to do the same thing but on this side of the bracelet. Just a little tip I wanted to tell you guys, after you string your beads, you're not sure if it's right or not, just take it off your board and try it on. You can see mine here are lined up pretty good, so we are good to go. There we go, just like that. Okay, So I'm just going to go like this and do some adjusting on mine. Make sure it's laying right. Okay, it looks like we're good to go. See how mine are pretty much kind of straight? If you have some, like, let's say this one's like sticking out and it's like that, okay, that's because there's too many beads on it. It could be just like one or two difference in beads. But when I pull this down, all of mine are pretty much straight. The next thing to do is to separate your cords like this, and you want to take the two center, pick up a bead. I'm doing a seed bead here, but on the other bracelet I did a 6mm metal bicone, and we're going to crisscross our cords through this one bead, just like that. Bring it down, hold snug. Okay, now these two cords here are now going to be our leader cords, so put that off to the side, and I'm going to bring this down. Okay, separate these cords here. I probably will be fast forwarding through some of this because I know this video is going to be super long, and I'm just repeating the same knots over and over. It's just that things down here are going to be a little different because we're going backwards now. Okay, so this here is my leader cord. I'm going to hold that in my left hand and then take this cord, hold it in my right hand, and I'm going to wrap like this around that cord. So you have to go back up here and pull that tight because it loosens up. Pull that knot down. Hold this cord over here, the one that's coming out of that bead. Okay, and then go again, second time around. Pull this down. Okay, so now I'm going to get that out of my way. I'm going to go to the next cord, this one here. Wrap this one around. Got another one. Now on my other bracelet I did do a little bead. This one here, see how I did a bead there? So you could, if you're doing that again, you can do it down here, but this one I'm actually skipping that bead. So I think it's not this cord, but the last cord I did, you would have put a bead on that cord. Okay? So pulling that down and then finishing the knot. Okay, now this cord here gets a bead, and we're going to put the bead on the outside cord. So see how this one here has a little string on it? Sometimes when I melt them and I went like that, it would have a little stringer on it, which made it a lot easier to string the bead on. Okay, now I'm going to take this cord with the bead on it and go around this leader cord. Go like that. Pull this knot up. Okay. Pull it up, pull it tight, just like that. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So I'm going to fast forward the video. Separating my cords again, I'm going to then take the center two cords, okay, And I'm going to take the left one, hold it in my right hand, and right in my left hand, like this. And this is going to go around, the left is going to go around the right. And I had to move to this board so you guys can see what I'm doing better. But the board keeps moving, so that stinks, but it's what I have to do. So right here I am with my knot, and I just try to center it. You will have to see cord on each side. There will be cord visible. It's supposed to be like that. Okay, so what I might have to do is this. Hold it like this, and then gently pull this up and pull that tight. And it's going to slide, so then you could take your needle and slide that back down, because you have to see that thread there like that. Just scoot these two knots together. Yeah. Okay, you want it to be just like that. You have to see that little gap of thread right there. And now we have to put our beads on. So this cord, the next cord here, is going to get a bead. Okay, and then we skip the next cord, and then we go to this cord and put a bead on this cord. Okay, so back to my leader cord. This one here is my leader. See that? I'm going to take the next cord right here, this one, and tie my knots around it. My bead's trying to get away. Scoot that bead up. This part here you have to fidget with a little bit just to get it right. You don't want that knot to slide up. You want to see that little gap there of cord, okay? Then finish the knot. And then the next cord has no bead. And these knots do want to slide up. They slide. The knots slide on your leader cord very easily, so you have to be careful that you don't close up that gap there. Okay, bring that down. And then my last one here with the bead on this side. So the one with the bead's going to go around this leader cord now. Slide that into place, go around. Okay, last cord right here, the outer edge cord. See how it hugs around that bead? One more time. Okay, just like that. Now I'm going to go do this side, and I think that I will fast forward it again. Now we have to do this part right here. Okay, so I just did the beads. This here, we have to do this. So I'll set it here so you can look at it. I'm going to take my cords again and separate them. I have to find the middle. There's middle. Take the 2 middle cords. Okay, and looking at this one, it looks like I have the left going over right, which makes sense because I always do that. Okay, so this left cord, the first cord on the left is going to go around the right one, like that. And then we're going to pull it up. Okay, and then do it again. Okay, now this is going to be, make sure it's close there. This is going to be the cord that I'm going to wrap around the other ones. So I'm going to separate these and take this cord that I just tied knots with, okay, and go under the next cord, just like that. Pull that up, do it again. Okay, put that to the side, take the next, I put the wrong one to the side. This I'm going to hold like that. I just have to swap those cords like this. Okay, so I swap those so this can go on top and loop around. Like that. Second time. Okay, and then go to this one, take this cord, okay, now I have to go around this one right here, which gives me this little curve right here. So take this cord and go around the outside cord like this. Doing this backwards was so confusing to me. It took me some time to figure this out. Okay, just like that, and now I have to go to this side. So again, separate my cords. This one now is going to go this way, and it's going to go underneath this one here. This one right here is going to go underneath this one, and it's going to knot around that one. Okay, like that. And tie knots around that cord. Slide this up. Second time. Okay, next one, go underneath again. So have to swap them. Like that. Go underneath this one. I always have to swap. Okay, just like that. And then this one here is now going to go around this one to give us that curve that we need. On this side. Okay, and there we go. This is what we have right now. I'm going to split the cords again. Okay, take the cord, the 2 center cords. This one is going to go this way. It's now going to be my new leader cord. And the one on the left is going to be going around it. So I go like this. I bring that knot up. Do it again. Okay. To the side, take the next one right here. Go around. Pulling that snug. Again. Like that. And then the next one. And the very last cord, we're going to put a bead on that one. Okay, that's what I have so far. One more here. Like that. And then this one's going to get a 4mm bead. Slide that down. And then this cord is going to go around this leader cord. Okay, so you have to do some wiggling, twist that bead, get it all up in there, make sure it's tight, you don't want to see any loose cord. Pull that up. Just like that. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing over here, and I will fast forward. Okay, here we go. This is what we have. Now I'm going to do it again, separate the cords. Get the middle too. Okay, and I'm going to do, I'll show you this one. Where am I at? Looking in the camera, I can't see. Right here, we're going to add another row. And then we can do our big bead. So again, starting in the middle, 2 center cords, I like to take the left one and wrap it around the right. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing to this side. So again, I separate my cords. This one here is going to be the leader. And then the first one on my right side is going to go around it. Separated my cords, and I took the center too, and I have to add on my large bead now, so I just want to zoom in so you could see. Okay, so slide that up, and this bead here is an AB jet czech fire polish bead, 10mm. So one side has the color but the other side doesn't, but it's so stiff on the other end that I can actually turn it this way and it kind of stays there. Okay, so zooming back out, I'm going to be fast forwarding through this because we are just repeating the same repetitive things over and over. This is going to go to the side for me for now. This here is my leader cord. Okay, it's going to continue to be my leader cord. Straighten these out, it's going to go this way, and my other cords are going to knot around it. Okay, so I now have this, and I bumped my camera. Okay, I'm going to take my center too. Again, left goes around right. I'm going to tilt this bead this way so that I don't see as much exposed thread. Okay. And there we go, there's that. So now I have to do another row of the chevron pattern. And this cord here is going to be my leader cord. Okay, so looking here, I did 2 rows of the chevron pattern. Now I'm just going to be doing the diagonal double half hitch knot on each side. This is how I first learned this knot, is in a friendship bracelet, and it had I think 3 or 4 different colors in it. I repeated that pattern over and over. So I'm going to show you how to do this, and I will fast forward it, of course. So I'm going to take the cord here on the outside and bring it over here. Just like that, and then again I take the cord here that's on the outer edge, you just keep going doing that and you will get a big opening in here, just like with my original one here, and you want to keep going, and you want to get this gap to be the same distance as your button. See that there, from end to end? Okay, and I'm going to do this side real quick just to show you what it's like. It's the same thing on this side, you're just doing it the opposite side. So again, you always take the outside cord. So to connect these two sides together, all I have to do is just take my two center cords here and connect them together. Now remember I said that I always like to tie my left cord around my right like this. Okay, and with this here I do find that I have to hold it like this in my hand, like that. Keep this taut, and then do my second knot, and again I make sure that's tight right there, like that, and then I slide that knot down that way. Okay, so now they are connected together, and we just continue on doing the chevron pattern. And I'm going to fast forward through this because we're just repeating the same thing that we did up here and over there, you know, throughout the rest of the bracelet. Okay, here I am at the center again. So I connect them just like I did before, with left going around the right. So that's 2 rows of the chevron, and now I'm going to do my third, which is my last. Here I am on my last 2 cords, and as you can see they got really short, but I'm still able to tie knots with them. If you're not, you can do pliers like this. See? I think I could still tie it, even if it was just a little bit shorter, I could probably still do it. Okay, just like that. I have 3 rows there that are keeping it together. I think it looks great. And I'm going to add my beads on, and all I do is I put 1 bead on, like this. Okay, and then I tie an overhand knot, and you can go through it once, go through the loop once or twice. I actually like the look of it twice, but it's a little more difficult to get it to go all the way down. Go like this, and bring that knot as close as you can down to your bead. And I tie them all loosely at first, and then I go back and I scrunch the knot closer and closer down to the knots there, and then cut it. So I finished the end off here and it looks really cool. I like that a lot. I feel like it really makes it look even fancier, and I'm probably going to do the same thing to the other two. And I gotta tell you guys, I had so much fun designing this. This is probably one of the biggest pieces I've ever created and the most fun I've ever had making a piece, and I feel like I could just make this bracelet over and over and over again, and there's not a lot of things that I make that I enjoy this much making. So this was a really huge video for me, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it just as much as I did. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and make sure you click the bell button so that you get notified when I upload new videos, and check me out on my social media sites. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. Thanks for watching.